NZP Portable, also known as NZP.gay, is a COD Zombies fan game I made a video on just about 2 years ago when I discovered it. And the great thing about this fan game is no matter what specs or device you own, if you have a browser, you can play it, hence the title of the video. But when I played NZP for the first time around, I kind of just played a few maps and it was a pretty shallow showcase of what the game has to offer. But today I'm going to have a look at the huge amount of content this game has, whether it's a mode where you're a cowboy in the starting room, or a setting where there are over 60 zombies and you can barely survive, or even just something as simple as fun as gun game, plus a whole roster of maps, whether fan made or made by the NZP team. So yeah, enjoy the video. And just before we jump into this, I want to ask if you'd consider subscribing either now or at the end of the video when you've decided I'm worthy of your sub. Plus, I'm trying to beat Harzino since he now has 352 subscribers as of recording, and he's only been doing this for 6 months. Damn, I really need to lock in. But yeah, help me beat Harzino, and I guess that's my little ad over. So yeah, time for some NZP, I guess. So the first map I decided to play was House, which is actually a remake of a map from the Nintendo DS Zombies, which I've played before and it is stupidly difficult, but playing that map with some more, I guess, friendly controls sounded quite fun. Plus, it's House, so how could I not? And my first game of House went swimmingly, when I decided to knife a zombie and I got the Nintendo DS treatment and died in a second, and honestly, it lives up to its predecessor. And then I was stuck staring at the end screen, not knowing I had to restart manually. But I did like the menu options for leaving. I miss when games did this sort of thing. But after a quick settings change and a bit of false hope, I loaded into another game. And I survived long enough to get myself a car and quick revive. And this is when I was introduced to the strange controls of the game. Down on the D-pad was to buy things, X was to switch weapons, and Y was to reload. So if you see me fat finger and swap weapons or reload when I really shouldn't, you know why now. I'm bad at zombies, just not that bad. But I did get used to these controls by the end, and it wasn't too bad. And now is when you will notice how bad my aim is. And yeah, I was just kind of struggling with this the whole time playing, and it just felt a bit quick for me. And I just kept overshooting it, plus hipfire just isn't an option in this game. So yeah, you're just gonna have to see me miss a lot. So enjoy the bad gameplay, I guess. And in case you were wondering what I was working towards on House, it was just to see what was behind this door at the back of the map. And I didn't remember there being a door on the DS version. I mean, there probably was, but I was just too focused on getting to like round 3 and barely surviving. And I really needed a gun, and there was absolutely nothing in the starting room other than a car and an M1 Grand, so if there was anything behind that door, I'd be happy. But my happiness soon faded when I ended up taking it down on round 4, due to the hipfire being as bad as it is. And I mean, I still would have died, but it's just so much easier to blame something else than take accountability. But on a down, I was awarded with the pistols a blinding light. I mean, these things were crazy. But after that very necessary down, I had enough points to buy the door. And while it had very cool things in it, it had a gun, speed cola, and doubles. But only one issue, I could afford none of it. And now I'm stuck with a car, my bad aim, and questioning my life decisions. And I don't think it takes a genius to see where this is going, because in an attempt to build any resemblance of points, I took one down, and then a few seconds later, I died for good. But still, I'm glad I got to see House, and there's still so much more to look at, so yeah, let's move on. And the next map I chose was made by the NZP community, and it's called Bunker Defense, and it's exactly what I was hoping for, a simple hold your ground and survive map, which just hits right in nearly any zombies game out there, so yeah, I had fun. And the first thing I noticed upon loading into Bunker was these two doors for 5k, and some really expensive guns on the wall, all being above 2 grand. So I think you can imagine what my goal for this map will be, and it's simple. Opening that door and just finding out why it's so expensive. But while trying to survive, something somewhat poetic happened, since I died in the exact same way I did on my first attempt on House, since I was knifing a zombie and I just got obliterated. But on my second attempt, things just went a bit smoother. Well, I hope you enjoyed that bit of nice relaxing gameplay, but unfortunately, I'm back to talking again. But at least I got away with showing you the early rounds, the lazy way. But even then, there's only so much I can say about the start of the game, without like just repeating myself. But the reason I'm talking again is because now we're on a dog round, which is just something I completely forgot was even in the game, and not to glaze the game a bit too much, but dog rounds, custom maps and game modes, as you'll see later in the video, all of that from one Google search is still a bit wild to me. But honestly, the credit's due. But after a few rounds, things felt quite hectic, since in normal COD games, the zombies path to you fairly consistently. But in this, they'll take any moment they can to turn around and just walk away, which sounds great. I mean, a zombies game where the zombies just don't come after you, I mean, what could be easier than that? But this leads to many situations where I'm stuck trying to get away instead of grouping them together, and they're just so spread out that it becomes so much harder to stay alive. I mean, you can see the gameplay. But after surviving all that, I finally had enough points to buy the very expensive door, and the price for that door was more than justified. I mean, it had everything I could ever dream of. It had every perk and a box where I can finally get a half decent gun, and the box ended up giving me a PPSH, and then just a few moments later it gave me a ray gun, which is kind of a sick joke since I spent hours trying to get it last time I played NZP. But now I have a PPSH and a ray gun, and I'm just camping. I mean, what more can you ask for in zombies? But for as great as the PPSH and ray gun are, I still couldn't figure out how to get Jug. I mean, there was a teddy bear on the machine, but I'm not big brained enough to go and find some teddy bears whilst I'm barely surviving. Also, the ray gun, yeah, it's still kind of disappointing. But at least it didn't break my footage this time. But whilst finding the pack-a-punch machine, a dog round had started. And as I destroyed this dog right in front of me, I didn't notice a faint glow at the edge of my screen, leading me to get completely blindsided by a dog, causing me to die. And honestly, Jug would have just been so useful in that moment. And I was going to say a joke about how much I hate this map, but honestly, I was just having too much fun doing this to say anything about Bunker. So Bunker was a solid 8 out of 10 for me. But now is the point where my third eye opened and I saw the game setting option. And in those settings, I could change the round and how many zombies were in a horde. And you know I cranked both of them to max just to see what it was like. And it was only fitting that I did all of this on a tight cramped map like Natda and Toten. And upon loading in, as you can see, it was immediately hectic and there was just way too many zombies, and on top of that, I was definitely not going to kill any with just the M1A1, especially at round 50. But in a very predictable way, I died very quick. But in my twisted sense of logic, I believed that if I could open the help door, I'd be able to survive. So honestly, that was the only goal I had. And after quite a few failed attempts, I didn't think it was possible to even survive. That and me just making some really questionable decisions under pressure, like trying to buy a 1000 point door with only 130 points. But then my fourth eye opened. Just simply don't buy the M1A1 because it does literally nothing, and then I'd be already 600 points closer to my goal. And my next run after my little brain blast was the one. I threw some grenades and I tried to get as many pistol shots in as I could before I was completely surrounded. And then I could just simply open the door. And now that I'm finally in the room I believed would hold my salvation, my logic had fallen apart. I had no points, like 8 bullets, and no grenades, so making points was just not an option. Also, I realised that even if I had enough points to buy the box, how in the world am I grabbing that gun? I could barely train, let alone pull off something like that. So my dreams of surviving the crazy settings died with me. Now is the time for the game mode I found called Wild West, which intrigued me. I mean, I couldn't really guess what it could be, so loading in and finding out was my only option. But unfortunately, I think I was doing something wrong because it just kept bugging out for me, but I still want to show it since I think it was just such a cool concept. And the first thing I noticed upon loading in was the big iron in my hands and multiple of these blue drops. One being pack, one being a free perk, and the other two being nuke and a max ammo. Only one issue, they were all 5000 points each. And with a Magnum, that's just going to be a pain to get. I also noticed while messing up my controls and switching guns by accident, that I also had a shotgun. And to be honest with you, without messing up, I don't think I would have ever noticed that I had this, but it was a pleasant surprise. And there was also one other thing. I was trapped in the spawn room and there was no way of getting out, so you're just a cowboy stuck in a room fighting zombies. It's pretty neat. And to top it all off, a song that I haven't listened to since the car video, queued next on my playlist. And it was Short-Changed Hero, the most cowboy song out there. I wish I played it just for the bit, but no, it actually came on, it just came back from the dead just to play at that exact moment. Honestly, it just made everything feel so much better. But sadly, my run ended to the previously mentioned bug, and my character just kind of flopped dead, and I loaded up another run and the same thing happened. And I don't know what was causing it, but I had no clue how to fix it, and I'd usually skip over a mode that I didn't really get to play. But the concept alone was more than enough to have its place in this video, so that's why it's here. And now we're on to our final part in this video. Also, I do want to quickly say I was going to show off gun game, but you all know what that is, and I don't think it would be really interesting to see. And it totally isn't about the fact that I really struggled to write a script for that mode, and I didn't really know how to make it fun to watch. But anyways, the last part of this video comes to me pressing this random map button, and I end up getting a map called Loop. And Loop is a fairly simple map. When you spawn in, there's a power activated door on the side of you, and in front of you, there's a 500 debris. And once you open it, call me crazy, but you start going in a loop. This map was also surprisingly difficult. With it being as cramped as it is, I got very quickly overrun on round 2, but luckily there was the most perfect Thompson wall buy that saved this run. And something very interesting about this map was the more doors you opened, you'd get more things to buy to help you survive. But it also made it harder because the more you progressed, the more zombie barriers there were, causing you to get surrounded quite quick. And while playing, I constantly had to have my head on a swivel. As I opened up the map, I ran into the box, and my only hope was to get something like a Browning or an MG42. I just really needed something with some sort of staying power, but I guess the MP40 would do for now. I also opened the door, and yeah, I was just at the end of the map. My only issue was, if I turned on the power switch, this very nice camping spot I had for myself would become redundant. So before doing anything, I decided I'll get an LMG or some sort of thing like that, pack it, and then I'd flip the switch, exposing myself. But on my very next box here, I got exactly what I asked for. I got myself a very pristine, bumpy, blocky MG42. So I used it till I had enough money to pack, and now it's time to actually play my game and pay attention, instead of just camping all the time. And you know what? Just because I'm really enjoying the NZP soundtrack, it's time for some more gameplay and music in the background. Yeah, I'm so original. Totally haven't done that like twice in this video already. Anyway, enjoy. So, I guess this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had quite a bit of fun with this one. Also, all the tracks plus the game will be in the description, and I urge you to check it out. There was a lot more effort put into this than I previously thought, so I just want to thank the NZP team for making this. It's so good to see people actually passionate about something nowadays. Honestly, just keep it up. And now is the point in every video where I just want to go off script and just talk to you guys for a little bit. And the first thing I want to say is sorry for the abysmal upload schedule. So my mic had broke and I had brought a new one, and then that one just decided, you know what, I'm just going to set fire to myself. So I just haven't had a mic. So I ended up fixing my old one, which is the one I'm using now, but it's still not up to its former glory, so I'm iffy on how I sound. But yeah, that's where I've been. Also, as it goes in any video, if you want any challenges done or have any ideas, just let me know. There's a good chance I'll do them. I read every comment, and plus I just like mentioning people. It's nice to have a bit of community. And the elephant in the room, which has probably got bored and left because it has been that long, was the big iron video. I'm still working on it, I'm still going to do it, but that was the video I was doing when my mic decided, you know what, I'm going to break. So I kind of got discouraged and just didn't carry on with it. So I guess that's all the updates I got for you guys. So if you feel like subscribing and you actually enjoyed the video, please do, because it helped me doing this in the long run. Also, I now have a Patreon. So if you want to sub to that, you can, but if you haven't got the money, please do not do it. I don't have to say it, like, I'm not too fussed. It's only for people that want to support me and have the money to do so. So if you want to do that, I'll be greatly appreciative. But that's all I gotta say. So yeah, see ya.